Hey, y'all, and welcome to the Everyday Athlete Podcast, recorded live from Omaha, Nebraska. And I'm your host, Katie Danger, U.S. Army veteran and founder of Red H Nutrition, providing everyday athletes just like you clean, effective nutritional solutions, custom formulated to help you reach your absolute potential every single day. Hello, athletes. Welcome to episode 6 of the Everyday Athlete Podcast. Today, I have some really fun training on board. So I go to CrossFit Hydro and, I have finally been able to get back to 5 workouts a week and feeling good. But I tell you, I'm a little bit sore today. So I worked out Monday. Yesterday, I went to a spin class at the new Cycle Bar studio here in Omaha. And then today, I've got some fun training on board. Now, I took a short break from training for about 6 months while I was building the Red H Nutrition business, getting this podcast off the ground. But now I've been back in the game for 3 months. And because I'm 34 years old, I didn't want to rush back into anything. I've played this game before. I've been a lot younger when I played the game, so I kind of understand that as I've aged, I know that I am not a spring chicken anymore, okay? So I'm taking as much time as I can to stretch and mobilize and do my accessory work to make sure that I stay as strong as I can. And I'm going to be honest with you guys. I would say that although my numbers have changed, so I'm not able to complete certain workouts as quickly, or I'm not as strong and able to lift as much weight, I really feel more fit and I feel the best in my body than I have ever felt. And I am 34. I am so grateful that at 34, I can feel this amazing, look this amazing, and perform still at a high level. It feels really good. So my goal is that through these episodes and as we take this journey together and you get to know me a bit more and I get to know you, I hope that I can share my bits of wisdom with you so you can feel as great as I do, no matter what your age is or whatever you're training for. You deserve to feel good. So once again, thanks for stopping by the podcast. Welcome to episode 6. A little bit more about my workout today is I'm going to be doing a 2-rep max hang power clean. Now, back in the day, and I'm talking maybe like 5 or 6 years ago, I was able to hang power clean 190 pounds. My body weight back then was about 145. So today, based on where I'm at for the past 3 months, I'm thinking that I'm going to be able to comfortably hit a 2RM for 125, which I'm going to take. And I'm going to be really happy with if that's what I can hit, because my body weight is about at 120. And I use my body weight now as the benchmark for where I want to be with my strength and abilities. I feel like, one, I got to be able to move my own body weight effectively and appropriately. But I've also really believed that being able to move your body weight plus your own self is just really important for staying functional. And, strong people are harder to kill. That's just the way that it is. So speaking of strength gains, I want to get into the topic of today's podcast. And we're all familiar with macronutrients, macronutrition, and making sure that we feed our bodies to grow and recover. We're talking about proteins, fats, and carbohydrates. And these macros tend to dominate all the conversations on nutrition. Now, no one argues that we need to find our own personal balance of proteins, fats, and carbs in order to get the most from our fitness and ultimately make the progress that we want. And we're talking progress, aesthetically. We want the abs, we want the glutes, we want the quads, we want the traps, but we're also talking about performance as well. So even the everyday athlete, I know even you guys out there listening, you may not be going to the Olympics. You may not be going to the CrossFit Games, but you're taking time to weigh, count, measure, and then tweak your consumption of these macronutrients, your proteins, your fats, and your carbs. But you guys, hold the phone. There is so much more to this equation than just your macronutrition. There's so much more than just proteins, fats, and carbohydrates. You're leaving some things on the table. You're leaving some things unattended to. So whether you don't know how micronutrition can help you, or where you can get these from, I'm here to share 3 points on micronutrition, on why you absolutely have to start taking notice of their importance in your overall goals. Okay, so macronutrients, proteins, fats, and carbs. Micronutrients, what are they? Micronutrients are the vitamins and minerals that your body needs. Vitamins are necessary for energy, immune function, blood health, cellular health. Minerals are important for muscle growth, fluid balance, bone health, and liver health, among another wide variety of cellular functions. But I'm just hitting on the main topics. The topics that I know as a fitness person, as an everyday athlete, are important to you. So humans have to obtain most of our micronutrients from food. The majority of the essential micros that we need, the micronutrients, we either can't get from food or we just don't get the quantity we need from food alone. And now I want to refer back to episode 3 when we talked about how that idea of getting everything you need from food is false. So this is kind of expanding on that topic, that argument that I presented. You can't get everything you need from food, especially when it comes to the micronutrition, the vitamins and the minerals. And oftentimes the food we eat or the supplements we take, when we look at the nutrition facts, you can look on the back of a supplement bottle, you can look on the back of, whatever food product you're eating, and you can see that there are also sometimes fortified micronutrients added in there. That's going to be added non-naturally. But what we want to do is we want to get most of our micronutrition naturally from food. But like I mentioned, you just can't get all the essential vitamins and minerals from food. So that's when we have to start looking at supplementation. But let's break it down here. Let's talk about vitamins and minerals. Vitamins and minerals, the essential micronutrients that you need. Now, with vitamins, there's 2 types. There's water soluble and there's fat soluble. Let's talk about water first. So water-soluble vitamins, they are not stored in the body. They get flushed out in the urine when they're consumed in excess. So oftentimes you can take as much of these vitamins as you want and the body's not going to store them. It's just going to excrete them out through your urine. They dissolve in water, hence the name water-soluble vitamin. So some of the essential water-soluble vitamins that you need as an everyday athlete, the ones that need to be on your radar, I picked out two of the most important ones that I believe, especially ones that you don't find in high enough quantities in food alone. Vitamin B12. First and foremost, if you are a plant-based athlete, if you are a vegan athlete, you need to have vitamin B12 in your diet. You are not getting it from food because this is found majority in animal products. So if you're not consuming animal products, you need vitamin B12. Vitamin B12 is essential for red blood cell formation, nervous system and brain function. And the more in tune your nervous system is, the more effective your workouts will be and the better stimulus that your body will receive. So when we're talking about things like Wolff's Law, where the amount of pressure you apply then is the amount of improvement that you see, this is often in relation to bone health. This is exactly what vitamin B12 can be compared to. If your nervous system is functioning on all cylinders, it's going to receive that exercise stimulus and it's going to create improvements in your body exponential compared to if you don't have enough B12 in your body. B12, because it's also important for red blood cell formation, helps promote oxygenation. So if you want to improve your endurance and stamina, adding B12 is fantastic for energy metabolism. Ever heard the saying, failing to prepare is preparing to fail? A major component to your competitive success will be your nutrition prep. And I created a competition nutrition guide to help you utilize pre, intra, and post-competition nutrition protocols, boost your confidence heading into a competition, recover quicker post-comp so you get right back to training, and increase your power output and max capacity so you can own that podium. I created this guide just for the everyday athlete, and you can get your free copy at competitionnutritionguide.com. I'll say again, competitionnutritionguide.com. And then vitamin C. All of us are probably familiar with vitamin C and how important it is for immunity. But did you also know that it helps with collagen formation and creates neurotransmitters? So we go back to that nervous system functioning. If you want to be the best athlete that you can be, if you want to be accurate, coordinated, balanced, flexible, making sure you have vitamin C in your diet is imperative, not just for your immunity, but for your neurotransmitters, your nervous system, and then keeping your bone structure and function high in integrity. Then after water-soluble vitamins, we've got fat-soluble vitamins. Now, these do not dissolve in water, and they're best consumed with healthy dietary fat. So approximately about 15 grams of fat if you're going to be taking a multivitamin, or if you're going to be supplementing with some of these fat-soluble vitamins like vitamin A, D, E, and K, you want to make sure that you're also consuming some good, healthy dietary fat along the way. Now, fat-soluble vitamins are stored in your liver and your fatty tissues for future use. So if you do consume heavy amounts of these, you can perhaps have a level of toxicity in your body. But once again, because we found that the food that we eat is not as fortified and nutrient dense as it used to be, and a lot of us are not consuming the supplements we need, this isn't really a problem for the everyday athlete. So some examples of fat-soluble vitamins, those include vitamin A. Vitamin A is great for vision and organ function. Vitamin D, immunity, bone health. Vitamin D3, which we often get from the sun. However, because, at least when I'm recording this episode, we've just entered daylight savings time, so we're coming on that dark time of the year where our mental function, our mood, our anxiety can get a little bit higher. So this is where vitamin D and vitamin D3 come into play. Vitamin E is an important antioxidant, and it protects cells from the free radical damage that ultimately results from muscle tissue breakdown. So those free radicals that roam around in our body and that target cells and damage our tissues, vitamin E is important for protecting our body against that exercise-induced damage. And then vitamin K, very, very important for bone health, very, very important for blood clotting. So for vitamins, we talked about water soluble and fat soluble. So let's go ahead and roll on into minerals. And I've got two different categories of minerals that you need to take note of. We've got the macro minerals and we've got trace minerals. Macro minerals are needed in larger amounts because they help the body perform very specific functions, like calcium. Calcium is needed for muscle contraction, for bone health, for blood vessel contraction. Magnesium. Here's a stat for you. Did you know that 60% of Americans are deficient in magnesium? Magnesium is involved in over 300 bodily processes, including blood pressure regulation. So when you are working out, when you're pumping large amounts of body into your heart, out into the rest of the body to deliver nutrient-dense blood through your muscles, this is really, really important to have adequate magnesium, because if you cannot control the blood pressure in your body, you could have some complications from exercise. You could feel faint, you could feel winded, not optimal. Make sure you got magnesium in your diet or you're supplementing with it. And then sodium. Sodium and potassium are both on here as macro minerals, and they go hand in hand. So sodium helps with electrolyte balance and blood pressure. And then potassium also works with sodium to maintain that fluid status in the body. And it also promotes proper nerve, muscle, and function and contraction. So, if you want to be lifting heavy weights, you got to make sure that you've got the sodium and potassium levels in your body so you can contract your muscles, lift that weight, and get stronger. Now, we talked about some macro minerals. Let's talk about trace minerals. They're still essential for bodily functions, but they're needed in smaller amounts. Oftentimes on the back of a supplement container or a food container, they're going to be measured in mcg, micrograms. Often trace minerals are in micrograms, whereas macro minerals, vitamins, they're in milligrams, mg. Just keep that in mind, little tip for you. Some examples of trace minerals include iron. This helps with hormone creation, provides oxygen to the muscles. Zinc. Zinc is necessary for cellular turnover, hormonal regulation, help with sleep and immunity. And then selenium. Selenium is really, really important for thyroid health. It has a defense against oxidation that results from exercise. Remember, we talked about that with antioxidants and vitamin D. When our muscle tissue breaks down, we naturally create these free radicals in the body. But selenium comes in and as an antioxidant prevents that damage to the new cells that are going to come and take its place. So I want to wrap this up for you. We've talked about a lot of information when it comes to micronutrition and the consumption of these key vitamins and minerals. They're going to help fortify your body and keep you just as strong inside as you want to be on the outside. We're so concerned as to what we're putting on the outside. You've got to take care of your insides because your insides reflect what's on the outside. If you want a good outside, if you want to have a strong, fortified, stable, structurally sound body, you've got to keep your inside strong. And that's exactly where this micronutrition comes in. As an everyday athlete, I know you're juggling lots of priorities. You're focusing on the food you eat, you're meal prepping. You might even be doing a macronutrition program, Renaissance periodization, macro stacks. You're counting your proteins, your fats, and your carbs. But just focusing on those is short-sighted and it can leave you at a deficit. I want to point back again, if you haven't already, go back and listen to episode 3, where I talk about that getting everything you need from food is a false assumption and it leaves you at a deficit. It makes it really, really tough to reach your overall goals and stay healthy during this entire journey. So the bottom line is, what I want to leave you with today is vitamins and minerals are part of every process of the body and its functioning. There is research that shows that you can prevent certain diseases and prevent typical signs of aging, keeping you stronger and healthier longer when you're getting adequate vitamins and minerals. So to get this adequate nutrition that I've talked about, these micronutrients, the vitamins and the minerals, first, get a variety of foods in your diet. you still need whole food nutrition. That is the foundation and always, always will be. Make sure you're getting a variety of proteins, fats, and carbs from clean sources. Keep the sugar out of there. But let's get some supplementation added to your routine. Find out those trace minerals that you're not getting. Find out the fat-soluble and water-soluble vitamins that you aren't getting and get those supplements now. I want to roll into a quick teaser about what episode 7 is going to entail for you. And I've got a great episode planned regards to fitness, you, and the 7 Army values. Most of you already know that I served in the United States Army for 6 years, but the 7 Army values are the set standards, the protocols that we follow basically to make our decisions, to hold ourselves to a higher standard than what the civilian population generally holds themselves to. So these are not just for soldiers, though. These values can help elevate your fitness and your everyday life so you can get more from everything that you do. It's a set of guiding principles that has helped me evaluate who I am, where I'm going, and where I want to be. So that is what you can look forward to in episode 7. You guys, I want to thank you so much for tuning into this episode number 6, Micronutrition versus Macronutrition, and learning more about how micronutrients can help elevate your game. If you're ready to add micronutrition to your routine, and as a listener right now of the Everyday Athlete podcast, I invite you to go to redhshop.com and use code podcast20. Take 20% off your order of our micronutrition supplement solutions. In fact, we have a fantastic multivitamin called Factor 10 multivitamin that encompasses all of these water-soluble, fat-soluble, and trace and macro minerals that you need to be the best athlete you can be. So, are you ready to be better than you were yesterday? Are you ready to optimize your fitness, your life, and your potential? Head over to redhshop.com. Find the supplement solution that's perfect for you. And remember, use code podcast20 to save 20%. You guys, this is Katie D. Thank you so much. I'm over and out. We'll chat more in episode coming up number 7.
This is the podcastfactory.com.